Okay, last topic. The trailer for the season 2 of Netflix's hit series Voltron Legendary Defender just aired. And let me pull that up. That is going to isn't launched. Okay, January 20th, which is literally coming up here pretty soon. I remember when they announced that Netflix was getting Voltron, and I was like, God, I hope it's better than that. Well, I didn't enjoy it. The Nickelodeon series that they brought back, what they called it, Voltron Force, that just was. I mean, I like that they paid homage and used the same character names from the original and called it an actual sequel, but it just was way different style. I didn't like it. Watching the Netflix one and getting to binge watch it and watching how strong it is in an anime sense, but it was awesome. The action was awesome. This is like one of the best. I like this better than the original Voltron series. I'm pumped about this. What's your guys' thoughts? give Dan a wide berth here because he's about to unload.
Dan's clearly excited.
All right,
Dan, what you think?
Get your ear holes ready. No, I'm pumped about this. I really loved. I love the original Voltron, but what I loved even more was the original version that was actually in Japan, because they obviously, when they Americanized it, they had to make some tweaks to.
They changed a lot, didn't they?
They did, but a lot of it was just kind of the dialogue. But of course, you kind of have to shoehorn the same footage.
Yeah.
One of the big kickers was the including of a guy named Sven as one of the guys before the princess kind of took over for one of the lions. Whereas in the Japanese version, I'm sorry, let me come back real quick. In the American version, he's with the Force for a while, and then
doesn't he get injured or something?
Yeah, he gets injured after a while, which is why she takes over, and then eventually he recovers and rejoins the Force. Whereas on the original series, he fucking dies. I mean, what happens to him is that it's the same episode set where he pretty much takes it for the team. He's beat up really bad. He ends up dying, and that's what kind of drives. All right, we need to get a fifth member.
Is it like a really violent anime death, or?
Well, not we just got done playing Rondo of Blood, so not quite like that. But still, I mean, it's not clean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not dying off screen. He's straight up getting killed. But there's a little bit of kind of that, and I think part of that might be a generational change too, because now we're kind of more accepting of a more mature storyline than what we saw in the past. But the original, what they've done with this new series, as far as taking on that mature tone that was in the true original series, into now we have we've got Pidge, who's not this nerdy little boy. He's actually a cross-dressing girl because she's got an actual agenda. We have.
You're talking about the new one, right?
Yes,
now, okay. I was going to say, did they do that in the old one,
no,
Japanese
no.
too? Okay.
The Lacey thing, that was all dude. But the introduction of the character Shiro, I loved him. I loved Keith being the original commander in the original series. But
finally, they're the same color outfits as their fucking lions. That drove me, and I'm not OCD really at all. But man, I was like, why is the red guy in the black lion, and then this? What the fuck's going on? This makes a lot, and like whatever.
But yeah, they're able to take these what I consider more mature, more developed elements, and include them in the story now to kind of bring it into what I think is a lot more of a watchable show. So you have those, and then the kid in me loves the Voltron mechanics that they've incorporated now, whereas it's not just one single matrix that they're working off of with 5 lines working together. There's 5 lines, so now this Voltron can now have 5 different specialties depending on who's taking control. It's not just one guy's driving. And
with that thing that they plug in, yeah. Right.
I thought that was an interesting. I'll call it a gimmick, but I liked that incorporation. And most of all was just the fact that the antagonist for the series was an original Voltron pilot.
Yeah, that was a cool twist.
That was amazing, and it kind of it fits so well in that you have this
makes you think backstory.
Exactly, and why someone and it really just kind of gave him credibility as a villain because he was in charge of Voltron.
He knows the system.
Yeah, and he knows how it operates. The series itself, the way that they left it off, with pretty much everyone kind of being scattered, that's understandable because it's a great jump off point for when season 2 starts. But it's there's just so much good stuff I can talk about this thing. So I'm not going to try to get into too much. But I mean, come on.
No, that's fine.
Steve Young. I mean,
Steve Young.
Yeah, he's the one.
Steve Young. Oh, the 49ers quarterback.
The quarterback?
No, not.
Oh, then I'm what's
Young?
yeah, that's who I was thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love
like 49ers. What the hell you think?
Yeah. BYU.
I don't watch
quarterback
Walking
with the
Dead, so I don't.
49ers. He was like up in Canada for a while.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, probably that was on me. I put a G on it.
You fucking nerd. We're talking about chicks and romance,
love
and you
the
bring
Niners.
up comics. No, that's cool. I actually want to get back to more of some of your in-depth thoughts because you know this stuff in and out more than us. But Matt, what was your thoughts? Now, you haven't seen the Netflix Voltron series yet, right?
I have not seen
But
the series yet.
you've watched the old one from the 80s.
I watch. Well, I sporadically. It was one of those shows, believe it or not, was on before I got off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So it depended on when we got out that day as to whether I got to watch Voltron.
Short bus takes longer to get there, so.
It does. And then when you got to get the helmet off, stuff like that.
Please don't comment on this video. Thank you. Okay.
Please, yeah. No, I love everybody. I remember I remember Voltron more because of the toys that came out when I was a kid.
Right.
I remember being in the 5th grade and one of my friends had that big ass Voltron that was remote controlled. It was a wired remote, but it would like move forward. You could like move the arms or something like that. And I was so envious. And he was taking it outside and beating the shit out of the thing. And I was like, really? This thing is awesome. So that was like what I remember Voltron as a kid was that. Like I wanted like the toys that were associated with it. Because that was one of like the first things other than like the Constructicons that you could put together and make the robot.
What do they call that? Gestalt or something? Is that the Japanese name? I just hear the name Gestalt a lot when they talk about a bunch of things forming a bigger thing when it comes to robots. Maybe that's just in the Transformers continuity. But I hear people on message boards or hear them. I see stuff like that all the time when they talk about gestalts and they reference back to Voltron, and obviously you got the semi-younger generation that always says Power Rangers, and every time I hear Power Rangers all I think of is, you mean Voltron, motherfucker. They're the ones that started this shit, okay?
And that's the thing, my son loves the Power Rangers. For Christmas this year, he got the Zorgs that all go in to make the big one.
The new one from the movie that's coming out or from the current
Dino
TV
Charge
show?
Ones.
Okay.
The Dino Charge one.
Okay.
But so he got all of them and he can click them all together and stuff. And that's a lot easier than it was with the Decepticons or with the Constructicons trying to make Devastator back in the day. Because you used to have to spend 10 minutes on each one, get it to the right configuration.
All these little extra weird pieces you got to fit together, and just as soon as you got him there and like, cool, he's there, don't touch him. He can move his arms to here. That's about it. He can't move his legs.
I had to read 20 pages to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a skill level J.
Uh-huh.
But, no, I remember seeing that they were relaunching it, and I actually, this is one of those things I wanted to watch and I wanted to try to get my kids into.
It's awesome.
Seeing the trailer for the second one makes me want to watch the first season even more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like a legit commercial or like a legit like cartoon episodes, like anime. I mean, it looks legit.
Tell you what,
100%.
when I first watched the first season on Netflix last year, I think one of the best taking a step back and just getting a glimpse at how good the series, a lot of the feeling that you get from just watching the opening titles. And for some reason, this always makes me harken back to Superman Returns. Now, stay with me here. Do not,
I like Superman
do not
Returns.
click away. Yeah, but okay.
Brandon Roth's good.
You're wrong, but that's fine. But no, it wasn't bad. I don't mind watching it. I just don't think it was a very good Superman movie.
He didn't need a son.
He was emo the whole time, whiny, complain. I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons that Man of Steel got so much more action. But we got to be careful. We can derail this really quickly and get into a whole topic on that.
Back to Voltron.
Superman Returns, the opening titles. When I first saw that, I was so pumped to see it. When I heard that they were reprising John Williams' score, and this was a spiritual sequel to the Donner films, pumped. Watch the opening titles, and I'll never forget, I still love the 1978 Richard Donner Superman opening titles, where they reference the time and date that the comic started, the Daily Planet, picture from the comic. They open it up, it's space, and you hear that fanfare, dun 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 dun, dun, and then you see these, which was new at the time, semi-computer graphics titles that fly at you, and they were very loud. That went, right in your face, and went very slow and like solid, so they looked like they were powerful, and you just felt that weight until the Superman logo comes up, and you hear the fanfare that almost makes you think in your head, Superman. Saw Superman Returns. I hear the opening fanfare, I get excited. And then I watch the titles, and they're like, it is basically kind of an analogy for the whole movie. You're like, Instead of that big titles, I was getting, and I'm like, come on, be Superman.
Shot in the eye with a bullet.
Yeah, I was like, come on, what the hell?
That was awesome.
The titles of Voltron, because this is where I'm going with this, are so awesome, especially the second and third time you watch it as you get through the episodes. They capture the tone, the pace, and then the way that the action flows, the speeding of it is awesome. When they showed some of the action scenes in the promo trailers for the first season, I'm like, that looks cool. They're even better in the show. I mean, when they're doing stuff, how do you shoot that from a cartoon viewpoint when you got people inside their cabin driving driving the lion, and how do you do it to actually show action when the lion's going to swoop around this way? I mean, it's really complicated to make you feel something in that aspect, and I don't think that they did it in the 80s as well as any cartoon did. It's not that great, but it was just, you just liked it because it was on TV. This was so good. It was so fluid. The character development was awesome. The backstories that we don't even know about some of this stuff was great, but the action scenes are fucking awesome. They're a combination of anime, which my brothers get way more into than I do, but some of the best visual dynamic anime aspects that you get in this, in addition to kind of a modernization. It's obviously cell shaded 3D animation because it's just so specific, but it's done so well you almost forget that it was CGI and then overlaid with drawings of CDs, because it looks so cool and it's very quick and it's fast. But oh, dude, you're gonna love the show. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. And I think pretty much all of us were
catch up.
I think all of us were in the same boat in the 80s with a lot of stuff like that. The cartoon that came over from Japan, I don't remember what channel that was on. I don't remember watching it regularly. I know we were excited every time we would get a chance to actually catch it, but I don't remember it being like, Tuesday after school, 4:30 is Voltron. It was more like, I don't even remember when we watched it.
Well, I mean, a lot of the big appeal from that thing is, in most people that love the show, all they loved was the combining sequence.
Mm-hmm.
That was 90%.
And they redid it over and over.
And every time that they did it,
the 5 lion bots that make one big giant bot.
Yeah, it's like the first.
It's like the He-Man theme song in the
15 minutes of filler of actual people, fine, whatever. But then finally, a huge, giant assembling.
And most of the animation is this.
Yeah, that does. You're waiting for that loud tone where you just see slams his hands together and makes this big, massive sword that's got
blazing sword. Yep.
But that's all, and that's what kept people coming back every single day. Whereas now, one thing I really like about this episode is that I like watching the episode for the characters in the story and the story itself. It's not just what's the monster of the week that the giant robot's going to fight. There is actually there's a lot of substance in there that drives it just as much as the mechanism, the primary mechanism of the series, which is, of course, just these 5 lions assembling into this Voltron. So
they pay homage great while giving respect to those of us that love this but then they don't just do it to shoehorn in. They add great
well, if they retried something like that
narratives to it.
Nobody this thing would have just kind of fallen off the rails, would have been dumped immediately. It's not enough to get people's attention just to have that one little 15, 20 seconds. They even remark about this in the show. Like, we can't keep using it. Can't keep now when these guys are piloting the lions. Like, it's taken us like 2 minutes to form this robot. The monster. They're actually talking about this.
He's gonna destroy the children's hospital. Quick, form Voltron. Hold on a second, dude. And then 2 minutes go by.
The entire sequence of like, all right, activate interlocks, dinotherms. It's like we can't do that. This thing has to come together like that. Otherwise, we're gonna get our ass kicked. So there's even like they're in training to speed up that process, because that is what we need. That's what we need. It can't just be, people aren't going to be drawn by just that one. However cool the sequence was, it can't just be that. So we can actually take that, we can update it, and we can add in what was already a lot of potential in the original series.
Unless they bring back that awesome 80s theme song. Then they could redo it over and over as many times, and I would still have a nerd rager the whole time and would still keep coming back. That's like dopamine for your brain. I mean, you guys remember that song, hearing that, ow, now, da-da-da-da. I mean, come on, that was a classic 80s theme song. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're all pumped for this. We'll definitely do a reaction after it airs. Probably not on January 20th. We're going to have to binge watch this and give it a few days. God, as soon as the first one came out, we watched it in like the first couple days, I think, right away. Oh, it's awesome. Matt, you got to watch this soon. So got to get you caught up on Game of Thrones, Westworld, Voltron. I'm sure I'll come up with at least another 3 or 4 things as soon as we stop recording. Probably be best to have this conversation with your wife and your family that you're not going to be seeing them for.
Leave comments below if there's something I need to bench watch.
Yeah, there you go. You just opened up the gateway, man.
There you go. I'll give
Floodgates
it
are
a
open.
shot.
He is very
I want to watch Atlanta now.
I heard that's good.
So
Yeah, I got to
Yeah,
watch
me
Atlanta. Donald Glover.
I was watching the Golden Globes, and there was all sorts of shows I was like watching, and I'm like, I really need to start watching television.
Got really good
I need to
critical
finish watching
reviews.
Stranger Things,
Have you watched
all
that?
that stuff. I watched the first episode.
What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty
Didn't
good.
it remind you of
It
TV? in the-
reminded me, yeah.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah, it's totally the 80s, yeah.
I just kept thinking Steven Spielberg, Richard Donner.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, God, I love that.
What about your thoughts on Kung Fury?
Oh, that's right. You finally watched Kung Fury. How, wasn't it awesome? It's so random.
I can't even put into words what I thought about that show. Like, I started watching, and I'm like, what in the fuck do these guys have me watching? But it was awesome. At the same time, it was awesome.
When he's
I need to watch it again because I feel like I missed everything. Trying to understand it.
no, stop trying
I
to.
missed something.
When he's flying down the
Yeah.
building onto the Lamborghini and shoots the door, and somehow the door just opens and he
The door
lands
opens
inside
and
it.
gets in. What the fuck?
Or he's using that guy's hand he breaks off as a nunchuck while he's killing all those guys.
Ride one man like a skateboard.
Oh, we could do a reaction to that, but it would be probably longer than the entire movie itself. We might have to do one for
Yeah.
Matt. I knew you'd freaking love that one though too.
I need to watch it again. I was one of the, I like it was over and I was like, I'm like, that was it?
Yeah. Yep.
I was looking for another episode, I think.
Well, they might make it into an actual, full-length movie. So let's cross our fingers. But
That guy's awesome. Hopefully they get him back.
Well, perfect way to end the episode. So we've got 4 days until the Nintendo conference. We'll actually do a reaction after that airs. It'll be up late that night or early next morning, as long as it takes to finish and get everything up. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Fractured Focus, episode number 7, the show where we obsess about everything from geek culture to nerd news, along with random topics for discussion. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share with your friends as we post a topic of the show each day of the week, Monday through Thursday, and try to entertain you with our semi-witty banter and our incessant rambling. Until next time, and until the Nintendo conference on Thursday, the 12th, right? January 12th. We'll see you again on the internet next time.
Friday the 13th
Probably.
following that.
I didn't even think about that. Do you get into that stuff?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, nobody fucking cares.
The
Until
movies,
next time,
well,
internet.
didn't they? All right.